My name is Bradley Goss and welcome back to the channel, and I know it has been a very long time since I've posted. It's been a long 2 months. The short film is almost done. I will be posting it on my YouTube channel within the next couple of weeks, right after the television stations air it, because we did use their equipment to shoot, so we can't actually have first rights to it yet. It was shot on red, so huge shout out to WKTV for letting us use their red camera. And so they will be airing it before we actually get to. That's just how it goes. But it will be out very soon if you are at all interested in watching our first short film. Today we are talking about Premeire Pro workflow and organization for client projects. But let's be real, I'm just trying to rank for keywords. You can use this in any type of Premeire video project that you want to. It's a very universal organization tool. It's kind of my version of what I was taught in film school. Add variations to it if you do so, please. But it is a very good way to stay organized and efficient in your workflow. On this channel, I teach beginner and intermediate photographers and filmmakers some skills and techniques to take their craft from here to the next level, wherever that may be. If that's your cup of tea, if that's something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below what you want to see done next. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the computer and start with this Premeire Pro workflow. All right, so the first and most important thing is to make a new folder with the title of your project. We'll just go ahead and name that test. And my big tip here is to, if you have the space on your local hard drive, your SSD, to do so, you're gonna wanna work locally. For some bigger projects like my short film, we can't do that because the folder is 670 gigs. I only have 500 gigabyte SSD. But if it's a small project like this video will be, I always work locally, meaning that I typically work just straight from the desktop, because the second your computer has to go outside of its own hard drive to reference video assets, or if you're editing externally, it's just going to slow it down a little bit. So if this is always true, if you can work locally, do so. So inside of the test folder, we're actually going to create 4 subfolders. One called audio, one called video, one called project files, and then one final one called exports. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit. So obviously your video files go in your video folder, your audio files go in your audio folder. Once you're into Premeire Pro and it asks you where you want to set your scratch disk, which is where you're actually saving your project, your physical Premeire Pro project file to, you're gonna select project files just so all your assets are in the same place. It's easy to keep track of. Again, this is organizational video. And then your exports is obviously where you're gonna export your final product to at the end of the editing process. So I'm gonna pull some footage from a recent school project. We'll just take all the files here. I'm gonna go ahead and copy and paste. So all the videos are in there. And then for the audio, I'm gonna go ahead and pop into this asset kit, and we will take a horror song and drop it in here. So once you've got all of your assets loaded into your folder, you can go ahead and open Premeire Pro. I'll just give it a sec to open here real quick. All right, so once you get to this screen, you're gonna go ahead and click New Project, name your project, and then this is where you're gonna set your scratch disk and where you're saving your project. So go ahead and click Browse, navigate to your desktop, find the folder that you made, click Project Files and choose. And now you are all set. All of your autosaves, your previews, and your project file will all save to that projects file folder, so they're all in one place, very easy to find. In the import window, very simple, navigate back to that folder that you just made, Command click video and audio to select everything, and what this is actually going to do is import all of the assets that are actually within those folders, and Premeire Pro is automatically going to turn them into folders, as you will see in just one moment. All right, so here you go. You can see video has 39 items, audio has 1. One thing that I also do, depending on the complexity of the project, is I will make subfolders within the audio subfolder called something like music or sound effects. Sometimes you can even have a voiceover if you're doing like interviews or things. And this just makes it easier if you do have to reference these later in the project. You know exactly which folder you can find them in, which will save you time and potentially money if you do this commercially. Next is the editing part. Now I'm not going to show you my editing workflow because if I were to do so, this video would be way too long. If you do want to see what I do for my editing workflow in, say, the short film or when I edit for projects, client projects, comment below. I will get to it eventually, but if you want to see it sooner rather than later, I will be sure to do so. Yeah, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just do a sample project and export to show you that. It's pretty straightforward. You probably understand by now. So we're just gonna drag and drop this video file and then put the horror music over it. So you get something like this. Walking into the frame any second now. There we go. Yeah, so obviously this doesn't fit at all, but that is a-okay. Go ahead and set my out point using the shortcut O, go up to File, Export, Media, and I'm just gonna go with a preset. Oops. We'll do YouTube 1080, and this is where you're gonna save it to your export folder. So go ahead and name it. So like horror. I don't know how you would say that. That was a great sound effect. Okay, so save as horror, whatever you're naming your project. Navigate back to your folder that you made in the beginning, exports, and what I'll usually do, this is just another tip, because a lot of times if you are working for clients, you're gonna have to do multiple versions because they'll want changes. So what I'll do is title my video and just at the end add V1 or V2 or V12, depending on how picky the client is. It's always good to keep these in case they do end up wanting to go back in the end to a previous version. So make sure you label the version so you know which is which if you are going to be saving multiple versions of a project. Go ahead and click save and export like you normally do. Just take just a few seconds here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this project, close out of it, and I'm going to hop back into, all right, so we're already in that folder that we made at the beginning. Again, your audio's there, your videos are there, and your project file, which was empty before, now has your project file and your autosaves and previews, and then your export is where you're gonna find your final output. Spooky. All right, one more tip. This is huge. Once you're done and you have a happy client, never, ever just do this. Don't do it. So what I'm gonna do is actually Command Z. Oh jeez, I thought I deleted it. I was expecting it to be here, but it wasn't. Okay, so it's back now. I always keep everything just to be safe. If you've got an external hard drive like this, this little 2 terabyte one, what I'll do is I will save all of my project files. If I go into video, you'll find old project folders, and this is where that I will save them. So maybe this one will be in like personal or something. So I'll just drop it in there. I have it forever. Again, this takes up a lot of space. Like this folder itself is 7.5 gigs. So if you do not have an external hard drive, option number 1, go buy one. It is so helpful as a filmmaker. Option number 2, I guess at least save the project files, the exports, just in case. You never know when you might need it again. If you want to add to your portfolio later, you've got it. Never just delete things, but if you have to delete things to save space, at least keep your exports. So there it is, my Premiere Pro workflow and organizational techniques. If this was helpful to you, please leave a like. If you have suggestions or if you have a different way of doing things, please comment down below, because this is a community where we learn. Everybody's out to help everybody else. Like, that's the beauty of the filmmaking community. For the most part, there are some people that just don't want you to know, but obviously I am out there to help. This is why I make these videos. This is why I started this channel in the first place. I want to help you learn to become a better filmmaker or photographer, whichever art you practice, or both. And if you have not already, please consider subscribing. It would mean the absolute world to me. But that is it for today, you guys. So get out there and create, and always find a reason to smile. UPS guy totally just interrupted my conclusion, but I've got my new rug. I don't even remember what it looks like. I forgot what I ordered. But yeah, hopefully, I don't even know what just, okay, whatever. Get out there and create, find a reason to smile. See you guys later. Mac and cheese.
It's always good.
No, get away from it. Cats, man. You know, I'm super glad that I actually did a test to make sure that my framing looked good, because I realized when I watched it back there was no sound because I never turned on my mic. Don't forget to turn on your mics.